You take away the interceptions. I know we can't do that, but I thought his pocket presence was a lot better yesterday. He threw some good passes, a couple to Nico throughout. I thought he threw, better passes yesterday than he did the previous week.
That was Texans head coach Lovie Smith at his press conference yesterday. I was out there and asked him if Davis Mills had made any progress as a quarterback. Per Lovie Smith, he was a little bit better at standing in the pocket. I think one of our buddies, Stroh's fan I know on Twitter, said it best in response to when I posted that, saying that, yes, he is present in the pocket, that he physically exists, and that he doesn't transport into another dimension when he is back there. We're all frustrated with Davis Mills. I think that last week against the Broncos was better than Sunday last week against the Broncos was way worse than Sunday against the Bears, but you had those two awful throws over the course of the game. Not the biggest reason that the Texans lost, though, because this team could not tackle. I'm not sure Lovie Smith likes me. Sean Mapes behind the glass, you're going to have to gauge this for me. Maybe we'll figure this out as I continue to go to Monday press conferences. I asked him about some of the struggles that the Texans have had tackling, specifically referring to the past where Lovie Smith teams were pretty damn good at forcing fumbles. Here is our exchange yesterday.
Your defenses historically have been very good at forcing fumbles. Is there a balance to trying to go for a tackle, but also trying to separate the ball?
Us missing tackles has nothing to do with that. Nothing at all. When you go watch the video and see how many times yesterday we missed a tackle where you saw somebody trying to go for the ball. So don't use that. We won't use that. We've got to get in better position with angles and being in the right spot. And we get there, we need to be able to wrap up. It has nothing to do with that. And as far as our form of defense, we would never stop trying to take the ball away to win football games. Just like we'll never stop trying to intercept balls instead of knock them down. You want me to keep going?
Sean Mapes, you can keep going here. Do you think Lovie Smith likes me?
No, because at first it didn't sound like it sounded like he was a little annoyed with the insinuation or the theory that you're putting out there. And then he kind of falls back into like kind of coach speak of, we need to be better, da-da-da. And then at the end when he's like, just like how we won't say don't get interceptions, do I need to keep going? That's when it turns out, oh, yep, nope, he's not feeling the PG experience.
I like the snark. And to his credit, I went back and watched on the All-22 yesterday. Ooh, Paul watching film. Big boy in the big chair by himself. He's right. I mean, really the only time where there was maybe a missed tackle because of a guy trying to knock the ball out was when Jerry Hughes was chasing Justin Fields from behind. He jumps and he tries to punch it out, time it at the right time, and he misses. Fields ends up scrambling for a couple of yards there. But in Lovie Smith's defense, he's right. And there's something else that's driving him crazy on this team. So there was a moment where Lovie Smith was talking about just the struggles of the run defense in general. I mean, this is a team that just gave up 281 yards on the ground and has the worst run defense in the NFL. They're the only team in the league that's given up 200-plus per game on the ground. I mean, the 281 certainly hurt, but it's been bad. It was bad against Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. It was bad against Javonte Williams and the Broncos. Two of them, both respectable running backs still. It's a major issue. What's going on? Lovie Smith talked about one of those big runs, the Khalil Herbert cutback run. Here is Lovie Smith.
That one big run that he had a lot to do with us. It was we had someone out of a gap, and we missed a big tackle. That leads to maybe guys, backup running backs coming in and really having big games based on what, the other side did.
Guys out of position. We touched on this briefly when talking about the Texans' loss on Monday. Briefly. We didn't go into super detail with it. I think Lovie Smith hates these linebackers. And, of course, he is polite enough to word it in a very calm, measured manner. But here is more Lovie Smith talking about the struggles of the Texans linebackers.
Oh, I don't think our play has been good. The linebackers, just as a whole, it hadn't been good enough. But I'm going to start up front first. Going into this game yesterday, it was about offensive line blocking them. It was about our defensive line controlling theirs. We didn't do a good job of that. Whenever you get a running back to the second wave, it's going to start with the D-line, and then from there, linebackers are going to be a big part of any plays that are able to break, run and pass. Linebackers are always involved. So when we talk about not playing our best defense right now, of course the linebackers have a big say in that.
I think we're learning something, Sean Mapes, and tell me if you're hearing the same thing. When Lovie Smith answers, at first, he's generally going to give like a couple of seconds of honesty. The comment continues, and he walks it back a little bit, and then at the very end, he once again hits on the point that he's originally trying to make, maybe in a little bit of a softer manner.
Yeah, it's like a compliment sandwich, basically, where the bread is both the truth, and in the middle, it's like, okay, here's like, or no, it's more of a coach speak sandwich. It's because he's not actually complimenting. It's just like, but as a defense, it always revolves on the linebackers, but they need to step it up. I hate these guys.
He's got really good bread. I mean, we're talking focaccia bread on the outside or something like that. But in the middle, it's ham or it's bologna. Whatever the case. Look, coaches got to talk the way that they're going to talk. I have a lot of respect for Lovie Smith with the way that he answers questions at press conferences. And I think he dislikes these linebackers. And who can blame him? Christian Kirksey, Grugier-Hill were out of position a ton if you go back and watch the film, as Lovie Smith instructed me to, in Sunday's game. And that sucks because what do? Who do you have? You don't have an alternative right now. Who else can you put out there? The guy that you brought in from Alabama this offseason in the draft, Christian Harris, he's on the injured reserve for at least one more week. So you can't play him yet. I think as soon as he's healthy, they're going to throw him into the line of fire.